Let's talk about the affidavit of support I-134 form. How can you fill in these blank spaces? These ones. How can you fill in? Can you type? Yes, can you type these spaces like this? Yeah, maybe you can you type? And if yes, what tools can you use to type? Another question is, can you use a pen? Maybe you can print this form and then use a pen, just a form of handwriting. Is it acceptable? Today, I'm going to show you how to correctly fill this form, the correct format or the correct way of filling in this form. I'm going to show you also the instructions on how to fill the form. Now, the first step is to go to this website, USIS website, and you have to download the form. It's a PDF format. So you click download, and then you can also download the instructions on how to fill the form. Now, the best way of filling in this form is to type. Yes, the best way is to type. You can type in these spaces and it's good, it's acceptable, it's legible, it's clear, it's crispy, and it's acceptable. You can always type in the spaces and make sure you hit save after finishing. Now, what are the tools we can use to fill in these spaces? Let's ask ChatGPT. For this case, we are using Copilot. And then we can ask something like, how can one type or fill a PDF form? The first option, you can use Adobe Acrobat Reader, which is a free version for most PCs or computers. Open the PDF in this format, in this Acrobat Reader, and then you fill in the form. After that, make sure you hit save. Number two, you can use web browser, Chrome or Edge. If I say Edge, it's like this one. The one I'm using here is called Microsoft Edge. It's a browser by Microsoft. And you can always use this browser to fill in any PDF. Yes. Now, let's go to the next. You can also use online editors. You don't need to install anything. Yes. No install needed. You can try. There is one called I Love PDF. There is one also called Small PDF and so many others. Just upload your PDF, add text boxes, then download the edited version. Three options. Let's say you have your own mobile phone or mobile device. Now, using a mobile device, use apps like Adobe, Fill and Sign. I used to have that when I was in Kenya. Or you can download something like Foxit PDF Editor. Open the PDF and then tap to add text. Easy. You can also watch video tutorials like this one. You can watch this or this one, and you'll be good to go. Now, let's go back on how to use now the browser. This one, the first option. Let me show you this. This option, web browser, Chrome or Edge. I don't like to use Chrome for the purposes of editing a PDF. Remember, typing in is a form of editing. So I don't like to use Chrome. I like to use Microsoft Edge. This one. So let's go back. And then we can. So as you can see. Okay. So we go back. The first step, part one, basis for filing this form. I'm filing this form on behalf of, most of the time, it should be the host or the sponsor who is filling this form. But to save time and for convenience, You as the DV lottery winner, you can always download this form, fill your part. Now let's read this. Part 2 says information about the individual agreeing to financially support the beneficiary. So if this is the case, you will click this one. I'm filing this form on behalf of another individual who is the beneficiary. So you as the sponsor or the host, you are filling in this form. So you click that. After that, you as the sponsor or the host, you can write your name, last name, let's say last name what? Maybe Smith. It's a common name in Scotland. First name, let's say John. Middle name, let's say what? Any name, maybe. Let's say Davis. I don't know. Anything, just anything. And then scroll down. Other names used. Let's say this person, your sponsor, has already done legal name change. Here in the US, it's easy to do legal name change. Let's say when you get married, sometimes you are required to change your name. As a wife, you can take the name of the husband. That's common in the US. And it's easy to change your name legally in the US. Provide all other names you've ever used as what? As the sponsor. If there is none, you can leave it. Current mailing address, if any. Current mailing address. In care of your name as the what? As the sponsor. You can use your name as the sponsor, which is John Smith. You can say John Smith. John Smith. Street, okay, street number, street name, you can say just a random 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe Flower Street. I don't know if there is a street name like that. Flower Street. Easy stuff. Okay, if you are living in an apartment, you can state that. And then let's say city. Which city? Let's say Richmond. Richmond. Okay, which state? Let's say this state is, let's say, Virginia. Just scroll down. VA is Virginia. Then zip code. Let's say, I don't know, just a random. It doesn't have to be that, but just a random. Yeah. Yeah, just a random. Or if you want me to search for Richmond, I can do that. Okay, I got it. If it's Richmond, let's go back. I was almost right. Then we can use that. Province, you can leave that. We don't have provinces here in the US. And then you can leave also this postal code, you don't need to write. And then this one is important. You can write US as the sponsor. Now, number 4, is your current mailing address the same as your current physical address? Most of the time it's yes. And you just scroll down. Part 2, information about the individual agreeing to financially support the beneficiary. Continue. It's just a continuation. Current fiscal. Okay. If this is different, Okay, let's say if you had said no, if you answered no on item 4, this one, provide the current physical address in number 5. So I don't need to fill in number 5. We go to number 6, which is the date of birth of the sponsor or the host. And you have to start with a month, maybe. Let's say January, which day? You can use some slashes there, or one. And then this person was born 1900. Here's an example. Where was this person born? Let's say Nairobi. Even though this person is already in the US, maybe this person is a citizen, but this person was born in Kenya. State, province, we can use also Nairobi. Country, Kenya, or Kenya if you want. And then number 8, if this person, let's say for example, if this person is a permanent resident, obviously he or she will be having the alien number, if any. You don't have to write. And then also USIS online account number. If you, as the sponsor, you have USIS online number, you can input that here, if any. So I know most people would have a green card holder, a citizen will always have this, and even this. The alien number, it's so funny. When you become a US citizen, that alien number will be transferred and it will be written somewhere in the certificate of naturalization. You will see that alien number there. Though you will no longer be alien, you are now a citizen. Now, what's your current immigration status? Let's assume John Smith is a US citizen. You just click that and you don't need to explain anything. What's your relationship to the beneficiary? A common term, people would say family friend. So as you can see, I'm typing. I'm not using a pen to write, to do handwriting. No. I'm typing, I'm editing. And then employment status. Yeah, let's say full time. And then you can name the name of the employer if possible. Or if you are self-employed, it depends. If you have to explain, either you have to explain. Now, part 2, it's part of the same information about the sponsor. How many other I-134 form, I-134A, I-864, I-864EZ, I-864A you've previously submitted on behalf of a person, including yourself if applicable, and your support obligation has not ended. Let's say, if, for example, during the past maybe 2 years or 3 years, you as the sponsor, you've filled the form for maybe 3 people, or maybe 1 or even none. You have to indicate here. Do not include the current beneficiary, which is mentioned in part 3. For this form is about 10 pages. The first part is for the sponsor. Yes, it's for the sponsor. Part 1 is the basis for filing. You're filing on behalf of the beneficiary. Part 2, sponsors information. Yeah, sponsors information. And then number 15, provide information requested in the table below about all of your dependents and any other individuals you financially support. So you have to write, if you as the sponsor, you have children or family members who are already in the US, you are supporting them, you have to itemize or list them. Their names, date of birth, who are they to you? Let's say the first one. Okay, let's say the first one is um Abby. I know it's just a random name, Abby. Let's say that. And then this is your son, or you can say child. What's your relationship? You can say child. And then if this child has a number, which is alien number, if any, you have to indicate. If there is also the receipt number, let's say you had paid for this child, maybe green card. When you were paying for the green card, you got that receipt number for the green card. It's normally I or E with some numbers, whatever. You see, all of this. Now, that's it. Receipt number, if any. Uh, then you scroll down. What's your current annual income? Very important. After itemizing your people, the names, what's your annual income? This is based on the previous IRS 1040 form. Don't write your own stories. Let's say you had filed your annual income for last year was maybe 100,000. Yes, 100,000, which is okay. And remember, if you are filling in this form as the sponsor, you should be cognizant of the fact that there is what we call federal poverty guidelines. So you have to check that form, and so that you can know how many people can you support with your annual income. I think I will put a link for that calculator so that you can know. And then, yeah, provide the information below. Let's say you have assets. Let's say checking account. Let's say savings. Let's say annuities. Let's say stocks. You see all this information. You see all this. Let's say real estate. And when I say real estate, it can be your house. Let's say your house is worth maybe 450 USD. Anything, personal property, maybe your car, whatever. Maybe it's worth 24. And then you have to total this. But what's more important is this one. Your annual income is more important than all this, because you'll not be required to provide evidence for this, but you will be required to provide evidence for this. And the evidence for this will be validated by 1040 form. IRS 1040 form that you've been getting from IRS. So this amount should match whatever annual income in your 1040 form. Usiandike stories zako. Yep, don't guess, don't estimate. And if you want to know, in that document of yours, IRS 1040 form, it's normally, I'm not sure, it's normally item 15. You can check item 15, and then you will see your annual income. Yes, just confirm. Yes. And then now somebody may ask, where will I get 1040 form? If you've been filing taxes, for example, after filing taxes, let's say using TurboTax, I normally file on my own, by the way, you will get 1040 form at the end of it. Make sense? And you have to save that form. If you forgot to, let's say, save that form, you can always log into your TurboTax account, and then you can download that form. Or you can also go to your IRS account. You can also find that 1040 form. Part 2. Part 2 is for the beneficiary or DV lottery winner. Very easy stuff. Now, if you are filling this form on behalf of another person, another individual who is the beneficiary complete number 18, 19. If you are the beneficiary, proceed to 4. In addition to providing financial support, I intend to make specific contribution to cover the beneficiary basic. Most of the time, click yes. Now, for this part 2, technically it should be the beneficiary feeling this but this question should be for the sponsor. Sorry for that. Part 2, okay, so I am, yeah, let me correct this. Part 2 is still about the sponsor. I'm sorry for that. Let me repeat so that usiji confused. This part is still for the sponsor. Yes, sponsor. Let me repeat. Now, number 19, describe the specific contribution. You can say something like maybe lodging and boarding until this person is stable enough. You can write anything. You can write this one, for example, if you intend to furnish room and board, you can write here. Yes, you can copy this and then you paste it here. Yeah, you don't need to write a lot of stuff. Part 3, information about the beneficiary. Now, for part 3, I would always advise the developer winner to fill this part 3. Why am I saying this? You know your information. Your host could be somebody who is new to you, a stranger, and may not be cognizant of your personal information. So I recommend that you fill this part. Yep, fill your part. Type. After typing and doing your part as the developer winner or beneficiary, you can now hit save. This is save. You can hit save. This one. It's normally this one if it's active. Or if you are getting confused, yeah, you just click save. After saving it as PDF, you can send this form now to your sponsor to finish part 1 and 2. Yeah, part 1 and 2, your sponsor will finish that. All the same, your sponsor can choose to finish everything. If you give your sponsor everything, all the information that's required. So other names is similar stuff. Alien number. Leave alien number blank. You can leave this blank. Remember, you don't have the alien number yet because you've not received the visa. So leave this blank. You know yourself, province, as per the birth certificate, which is always the same as your passport. Yes, I'm repeating this. I have about two videos about how to fill the affidavit of support. But I've realized that some people are getting confused whether to type, whether to do handwriting. It's typing on these blank spaces. And you can use Adobe, you can use Microsoft Edge, the way I'm using, and then you hit save and then you send it to your sponsor to finish. The same way your sponsor now will open that document and then fill it online, type it. After that, your sponsor has to click print. After printing, and signature has to be done. And or wet signature has to be done, not digital signature. So all this information are for the beneficiary. Easy start. Beneficiary anticipated stay of period in the US. There is no end date. You can estimate, let's say, any day after the interview, but there will be no end date because you are a DV lottery winner, permanent resident. You are intended to come to the US to stay. There is no end date. Yep. Part 4. Yeah. Part 4, beneficiary. I can read and understand. Obviously, maybe you had no interpreter, so you don't need to do that. and then your telephone number as the beneficiary, whatever. Email address, make sure you use your UP consistent with your email address. I suggest you use the one you had used in the DS260, and then certification. And then you can write the date here, but leave this blank because there is no way as the if it's you as the beneficiary who is starting this form, there is no way you will sign this form before sending this form to your sponsor to finish his or her part, and then your sponsor will send it back to you. It's at the tail end after receiving the completed form, you as the beneficiary, you'll have to sign now here. Makes sense. While for the sponsor, there is a place for the sponsor somewhere here. Sponsor will have to write the date, and this should be the wet signature or earned signature. And that's why there is the aspect of printing. Yes, printing. There is the aspect of printing. Yeah, you have to print. That's it. Printing after printing, you sign and then you scan the same, and then you email it back to the beneficiary. Now, what are the supporting documents for this form? 1040 tax transcript, which has to validate the annual income you had written somewhere, I don't know where, somewhere there, somewhere. This annual income. It has to be validated by 1040 form, IRS or IRS tax transcript. And then also, maybe you can, yeah, that's it. And then also, you can also have W2 if you want. And then also you can driving license of the sponsor or green card, passport for the sponsor, but not foreign countries passport. It should be US passport. But I would suggest that your sponsor should send you just the driving license, just for, yeah. And you now as the beneficiary, don't share this form with anyone else. This form will always contain private information. So don't share with anybody. And that's why, even if you go to a cyber to print this form, make sure nothing is left there. Yes, make sure you delete everything while you're cyber. Yeah. I think for my case, for DV 2023, I had my small printer. I printed the form at home na ikawa poa. So don't misuse this form. Make sure this form does not fall into wrong hands ama uweze kuacha kwa cyber. Yes. Yani, just be caring, be considerate. Yeah, be considerate. And that's it on how to fill this form. Maybe once again, you can use Adobe, which you all know. You can use Adobe. The only issue with Adobe is that sometimes it may require you to subscribe. I don't know, maybe the premium version. Yeah, it's not. It says free, but for some people it may not. Okay, maybe to summarize, the tools you can use to type or to edit that PDF affidavit of support form, you can use Adobe Acrobat. It's free. It says free, but I don't always like Adobe. Sometimes it's not free for some people. Now, number two, which I like, web browsers. I normally use Microsoft Edge. So I recommend if you want to use web browsers, use Microsoft Edge. And it's good. You can also use online editors like I Love PDF or Small PDF. And then also, if you have no personal computer, you can use your mobile device. There is something like Adobe Fill and Sign. I don't know if it's still working. There is Sodo, there is Foxit, PDF editor, and so forth. Now, let's talk about this. Handwritten Form I-134 form. USIS does not explicitly prohibit handwritten submission. Yes, it's common sense. It does not say it's not acceptable, but it's because of the legibility issue. legibility is the key. Your handwriting must be clear and easy to read, of which I know most people will not write legible handwriting. So it's better to type instead of using handwriting. Now, ink only. Use black ink, not pencil. Yeah, if you have to do handwriting, which I don't recommend because of legibility issue. Now, neatness matters. Avoid corrections or cross outs or messy entries. The signature part must be signed in ink, not typed. Why typing is preferred? Issued for officers to read and process. Reduces risk of errors or misinterpretation. Looks more professional, especially if being submitted for consular. If you read this, consular processing. Now, let's go to the instruction. There are some instructions here. USIS websites. This USIS website, it's recommend Adobe. Obviously, I don't use Adobe for this purpose. And then also, it says validity of the signatures, original and written signature. You see, there is also something else here. Type or print legibly in black ink. Now, if you are typing again, don't use any other color of ink. Just blank, black. Should be black ink if you're typing. And then there is also a stamped or typewritten name in place of signature is not acceptable. This one is not acceptable. Just use wet signature or handwritten signature, not your name. Yeah. All these are the informations or the instructions on how to fill the affidavit of support form. Easy stuff. It's only that most people will not read this. Yes. Most people are laid back. They don't want to read these instructions. And that's how most people will end up making mistakes. But maybe to summarize, it's better to type. Just just type. You use Adobe, web browsers like Chrome or Edge or online editors, and then you click save. If you are starting it as the beneficiary, let's say you are filling in that part 3 of yours, fill part 3, hit save, and then you can try to name that PDF, send it to your host. Then your host will open that PDF, type in his or her part, and then click print. After printing, he or she has to do an signature, and then scan it back and email it to you, plus other accompanying documents like 1040 form, driving license, and all those. So thank you